So we've got this video. I'll play this quick clip for you about the latest fire. There's a new fire burning.
Burning in the West Hills area. Officials are calling this one the Kenneth fire.
Evacuations have just been ordered now, and specifically it's for Van Owen south to Burbank Boulevard and from County Lane Road east to East Valley Circle Drive. Eliana Moreno is a news chopper 4. Eliana, this one has exploded in the last few minutes.
It has, Kathy. We first spotted it when we were over Altadena looking at the Eaton fire, and then we looked towards the Palisades fire and realized that there was a second plume to the west of the Palisades fire. So we made our way over here, and by the time we arrived, the fire was already at 20 acres.
Wow.
It has since grown significantly with the potential for 1,000 acres here in the West Hills area, touching on Agora Hills as well, and possibly Calabasas as well. It's difficult to tell with all of the smoke just how far this fire has extended, but we're north of the 101 freeway. We're west of Valley Circle, and this is a fire that's being fought with a mutual aid assignment. So we have LA City Fire, LA County Fire, and we also have Ventura County Fire on this one. I'll show you some of the aircraft that are fired.
So, of course, Donald Trump has called on Gavin Newsom to resign. We've been going over a lot of the data, a lot of the management, and there's a few really important examples. Joe Rogan, in July of last year, said he spoke with a firefighter who said, sooner or later that wind's going to sweep in and it's going to burn it all down.
Yeah.
Donald Trump talking to Joe Rogan, saying they're not getting the water to the south. It's very dry because these environmentalists, these conservationists. There was even, I believe, a week in advance warning of potential high fire season. The mayor goes off to Africa.
Yes,
She was in Ghana, on her way to Ghana, on her way to Africa when all this started to go down.
It's just, when you look at all of it, the defunding of the fire department, the mismanagement, the refusal to deal with the brush, the tinder, the downed trees. I mean, this is like our third day talking about it. It bears repeating. Fires happen, but this was mismanaged. And people are losing their lives because of it.
Yeah, they sure are. And this, of course, isn't the first time that Gavin Newsom has been made aware of the situation by Donald Trump. Back in Trump's first term, you could see Trump taking a tour of fire-ravaged areas with Newsom, telling him that he needed to clean up the forest floor, that he needed to deal with the water management. And at the time, the leftist media freaked out, and they were like, oh, Donald Trump says to clean the forest floor. Doesn't he know it's called the ground? And it's like, well, first of all, no, it's called the forest floor. But second of all, Newsom didn't heed any of those warnings then.
He didn't want to take any advice from Donald Trump. None of them do in California. And in fact, in 2014, they voted on some proposition. It was, I believe, close to $10 billion they were supposed to use to prepare and fill up their reservoirs, to have water to do this. And they didn't do it. They haven't done a single thing that they voted on a decade ago. And Gavin Newsom's, he's been governor for 5 years now, so half that time. And he's still governor of California today. He should be gone tomorrow. This is going to end his career. He should resign. Like Trump said, he should just be gone.
Where were they going to get the water from to fill up the reservoirs? You know much about it?
I don't. I am not sure, but what I do know, why the reservoirs haven't been filled up today, some of it's going out into the ocean. It's going right back out. They're not saving rainwater, right?
Yeah,
That's the most basic thing you could have is rainwater, right?
95% of all California rainwater runs into the ocean.
Right. So filling the reservoirs just means they need to control for the available supply and restrict some of it to the reservoirs.
We talked last night about the San Francisco Bay and why the water wasn't getting routed to the south. A lot of it, he said, is because they wanted to protect the fish. That is true, but also because of the salinity in the San Francisco Bay. If they stop pumping all that water, that rainwater, out into the bay, then all the salt water comes in, and then it toxifies the land for the farmers and they can't grow crops. So I'm wondering if we could maybe divert 10% of it.
They could
There's
build
also the Sacramento San Joaquin River Delta, those rivers and streams that are a little more inland.
So
that aren't getting where they need to go.
It was a smelt fish, right? It was this.
Yeah, I covered the drought 10 years ago when it was like the worst drought they'd seen in a long time. And I went through all these Delta farms and spoke with some of these farmers, and they said the concern isn't just the smelt, it's that if the water flow reduces into the Delta, there's this pressure. The water is flowing into the bay, which then goes off into the Delta, into the Central Valley, and goes, but the flow from the north of fresh water is pushing back. So the bay is brackish, the ocean is salt, and the Delta is fresh. If they divert the fresh water, the salt water flows in, and the farms are now salty, which can't grow. However, you can build dams and infrastructure and ways to mitigate that. I think the issue is just it's probably very difficult. And it's not necessarily even about that. That's a good point that Trump brings up. But like we were just mentioning, most of their rainwater runs off. They don't capture it. I think the real issue is that Democrats are looking at short-term gains. And look, I know people are going to be like, Tim's making it partisan. Dude, it's California. It's a supermajority of Democrats.
That's something that needs to be pointed out. Like, it's been the same party controlling the whole state for at least the past decade, probably 2, and there's been zero opposition.
Democrat mayor, counties led by Democrats, Democrat governors.
That's something that
they've got a
people-
list,
Yeah.
and they're basically saying, okay, if we fill the reservoirs, how much time and energy will that take, and what's the point? Well, if we ever have a wildfire, we're going to need it. Yeah, but there's no wildfire now. Let's jump to this problem and ignore the long-term problem.
Well, you know, of course, it was a year ago that Gavin Newsom blocked some dam projects in order to allow salmon to swim more freely.
Unreal.
Well, I mean, we can't leave the salmon
You
swimming
can't leave
less
the
freely.
salmon. Yeah, I was talking to a friend of mine who's actually done a lot of research in this area, and she was talking also about the problem of when you do single species protection and how that does not consider the whole ecosystem and how everything works together. So even if you are pro-environmentalist and pro-little smelt fish or salmon, focusing on a single species and trying to protect species, yes, exactly, focusing on that and trying to protect just that without consideration of the broader.
Their environmental
sphere is a
policies actually
problem.
sometimes hurt the environment. Take EVs. I come from a purplish district, a lot of EVs in my district, so I'm not knocking it.
There's a lot of EVs around here.
But the weight of an EV and the weight of the rubber on the road makes it worse for the environment than a gasoline-powered vehicle. And so then you look at the right whale, for example, that they're saying is going to go extinct because of all the boats, well, the shipping. It's actually the windmills, more than likely, that they're putting in the Northeast in the ocean.
It's driving the whales crazy.
Right, and killing the whales.
And they make fun of Trump for saying this. It's like,
But that's the truth.
It's the truth.
They're going to make Trump. They're going to make a thing out of an issue out of anything that Trump says. If they can in any way point at Trump and say, "Look, he's saying something bad. He's saying something stupid." It doesn't matter if he's right or not. It's just they're going to say
He's been right about literally everything now, like everything. And it's like, okay, finally, can he catch a break? And they will not let up. And this is why they lost the election so badly, so poorly.
Thanks for checking out this clip from Timcast IRL. Make sure to watch the show live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Subscribe to this channel, and we will see you all there.